Is this a trick question? Or
Tell the
so,
truth, Barry.
the truth on Golden Tempo would be, I don't think during the time he was going through kindergarten at our farm, he ever won a 2-horse breeze.
You've got to chuckle when you ask a question and Dr. Barry Eisenman says, is this a trick question? Because Golden Tempo, who won the Kentucky Derby, didn't act like he was going to be a Derby winner. Hope you like the new set. Off we go.
Welcome to the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios, presented by Piranha Animal Health in the horse capital of the world.
Thank you for joining us on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms. They're our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
What do you think? We're in a new spot. Dancing Pete arrived this week and we're in a different studio, so we hope you like it. We have a couple of different sets, actually 3 altogether in this particular suite that we're in, and I'm pretty excited about it. So comment below if you like it, and
if you're listening on the radio, it looks the same.
You're right. It does.
We've done amazing things, but you're not going to see a thing of it.
So you have to follow us on social media and then you get to see it. So we have a great show lineup, and the intro there before the opening was Dr. Eisenman and his wife Sherry. I was very, very excited. There's kind of a funny story there where when the Derby's coming up several weeks before the Derby, I reach out to all the trainers I know, and I do a lot of Googling and research, and I try to find every single Ocala-Marion County connection to the Kentucky Derby. Usually I do quite well. I usually miss 1 or 2. But I always text Barry Eisenman and say, hey, do you have 1 or 2 in the Derby? This year I failed to do that. And a grad of his won. That's not good. I'll never forget to text him again.
He's going to tell you to forget every year.
Oh, you're right. So we can win every year.
That's right.
So we're going to hear from him and Sherry a little bit later. The chamber here in Ocala-Marion County did a great interview, recorded a wonderful interview that Noah took care of at the FTBOA a couple weeks ago, and we've got some clips from that we're going to air. And the connection there with our live guest in the studio is that Sherry and Barry shared with me a very good friend of theirs who actually worked for them for 20 years on their team, actually had a grad that won the Preakness. So he's here with us. We thought that was a great connection to share with you, Barry and Sherry's interview, and also so you could meet George. So we're excited to have him with us.
So we just need one more person and we have the Triple Crown.
We have the Triple Crown. We have the Ocala-Marion County Triple Crown. You're right. Absolutely.
I'm telling you, we got to make it a thing.
You're right. We got to make it a thing. We can have our own Triple Crown.
That's right.
We also have Ryan Rose, a pre-recorded interview that we did at the Horseman Symposium we're going to share with you, and then a chat with famous filmmaker Ben Masters on conservation and farmland preservation. And then we're going to wrap it up with our usual, of course, but we're going to kick it off with Dr. Cayot from Peterson Smith with something we hope you don't have to ever deal with, and that's laminitis. Here's Dr. Cayot. Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show and the Equus Television Network at home. Dr. Cayot came for a visit today because I feel like I have an infirmary right now. And you came to the rescue. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Okay.
Laminitic pony. You said to me some time back there are 2 kinds of ponies. One that has laminitis and one that's going to get it. And that does seem to be right. I have had a reprieve for about a year, which has been absolutely phenomenal. No problems with Frosty, but last few days been lying down a lot. Very, very lame. Tell us a little bit about the process when you arrive to a possibly laminitic pony.
Well, the first thing I do is I want to watch them move, first thing. And then that gives me an indication of what might be going on, because laminitic horses tend to move, or ponies tend to move in a very peculiar or, particular way. They like to shift their weight back off their, most laminitis occurs in the front legs, front limbs. So probably over 98% of them occur in the front end. So it's very common for them when they start to walk, you'll see them shift their weight to the back end. So they'll kind of scoot their rear end under them. and try to maintain as much weight on their hind end to get the weight off the front end. So they walk with their front feet out in front of them while their weight tends to be behind center and on the hind end. And then you can particularly see that when they turn, a lot of times they'll really rock back when they turn because they don't like the torque. So that's number one. And then if I see that, then the first thing I generally always do is grab my hoof tester. We put the hoof tester on all the way around, all the way around the hoof. And typically laminitic horses will be sensitive to the hoof tester over the frog because that's where the most pressure on the lamina is. So that's where the pain comes from, typically the front of the foot. So when you have that, that's a good indicator. The other thing that you can feel for is a bounding pulse. They say a bounding pulse. That's a bit subjective because some horses have feel a little bit more of a pulse. But if I see the pony walking like that, and then they're sensitive to the hoof tester like that, I don't even worry about what the pulse is. And then, treatment wise, it's just kind of anti-inflammatories. The bad part about laminitis is that there's no real good one way to treat it. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose no matter what you do. So that's the frustrating thing about laminitis. But the ultimate goal is to decrease that inflammation that's in the lamina. The lamina are the little finger-like projections that hold the coffin bone to the hoof, and so that becomes inflamed. If it lasts for too long, then the blood supply can get cut off, and those things, the lamina can then die, and then you don't have anything holding the foot if it extends too long. So that's the sequela. So we try to just decrease that inflammation. One of the best things you can do in the acute phase is ice water. Soak their feet in ice as long as you can stand them in there, and then anti-inflammatories, bute, banamine, those sorts of things. Sometimes DMSO. I run that at the beginning on these acute laminitic episodes. Frosty's not acute. He's had issues and has some rotation, so he's foundered. And once they founder, I tell people you'll have peaks and valleys, and we're in a valley with Frosty right now. But he's been good for a year, which is not really typical that you'd get that long, but he has been, so that's great.
Yeah, I was really relieved. I was like, wow, it's a great reprieve that he's been able to just have a normal life.
Yeah.
And then this week,
and sometimes like you said, it doesn't matter. Sometimes, it's not like we've had a lot of rain lately, but we did get some the other day. So the grass is going to freshen up, and you got to be careful with that stuff. So, these laminitic ponies, they tend to be metabolic. So you got to be real cognizant of how you're feeding them. And that's the management part of it,
I know it's tough. I took him off the grass, started with the grazing muzzle, and then I took it because he's figured out how to eat through the hole in the end.
Oh, yeah.
He has a little mouth and he can still get it. So now he's in jail again, back in the pen and not allowed. And then the x-rays just are one is good to have them obviously to start with, which I did way back when. So you can see any major changes and put them side by side, but also kind of lets you know how far progressed
it gives you an indication of, is there rotation? If there is rotation, how much rotation's there? You can get an idea of sole depth of the hoof, which is important, and because the deeper the sole, the
someone's cheering us on. Talk to Cayot.
adding his 2 cents. The deeper the sole, the better off your prognosis is, because that coffin bone wants to push through the bottom of the foot, and it's got a longer way to go. Then that helps us, because we're still trying to get past that inflammatory process to let the foot heal. So if he's got less sole, then you have to worry about that. More worry about the bone coming through the bottom of the foot. So good part about Frosty is he's got plenty of sole, so that helps. And so we'll just see.
And he needs some toe off.
Yeah, he needs some toe off.
A little bit more toe. We're very cautious because when he's in pain, but more toe. So we'll do that.
You want to ease their breakover.
Yep, and then bute and banamine, and if anybody came up with a cure for laminitis, they'd be a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, that'd be great. For sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Adam Cayot with Peterson Smith Equine Hospital in Complete Care, Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show.
The Larson family has been farming hay in Idaho for generations with a mission to always provide high-quality hay products at a fair and reasonable price. Larson Hay loves to meet new customers while always honouring the ones they already have. Find Larson Hay on the web at larsonhay.com, like them on Facebook, and definitely visit one of their locations. Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and our television broadcast sponsor. Grateful for the foundation of excellence laid over 40 years ago by their founders, Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care continues to provide excellence in ambulatory and emergency care, surgery, internal medicine and sports medicine, with a lab and pharmacy, as well as the best in reproductive services at their Advanced Facility Center in Summerfield. For more information, find them at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now.
Hello, I'm Pat Myers, owner of Pat Myers Electric, a family-owned and operated business. My wife Sara and I are horse owners ourselves and know what matters most to a farm owner, with the safety of their horses being of utmost importance to us. Pat Myers Electric can light up your arena and make sure your horse's barn is safe and protected. Pat Myers Electric is the horseman's choice. Discover more at patmyerselectric.com.
Veteran-owned Wide Automotive, that's WEIDE, is a beacon of automotive excellence in Ocala. Founded on integrity and expertise with unwavering dedication in all operations, we seek to forge lasting relationships with our clients. Whether you have one vehicle or a fleet, we pledge our best effort in quality service. From repairs, diagnostics, tire repair and replacement, diesel engine work, horse trailers, car batteries, wheel alignments, fuel systems, and more. Discover more at wideautomotive.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios, presented by Piranha Animal Health in the horse capital of the world.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Thank you for joining us back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest. Alfalfa.
Oh, you're so funny. I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
And we hope you like our second new set in the new studio. And the guest that gets to be our very first guest live in the studio is our new friend, Jorge Villagomez. Jorge, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
It's so exciting to hear such wonderful things from the Eisermans, from Dr. Barry Eiserman and Sherry Eiserman, about you, as they had a grad that won the Kentucky Derby that started training right here in Ocala at their farm. And then, as Pete said earlier, you started the horse that got the second Triple Crown race, even though it can't be a Triple Crown. It's in the Triple Crown series, which is the Preakness.
That is correct.
How awesome is that?
Very exciting.
It is indeed. I love the Ocala-Marion County connections, and I love it when we can track back. And Pete can speak highly of this, because being a horsemanship guy, he knows that the foundation of the horse, the person who starts the horse, matters.
It's very important. You got to, just start from the bottom and just do it right by the horse, and that's one of the most important things, and most trainers in the racetrack feel that way.
It's true, and I think the person who first interacts with the horse, gets the horse under saddle for the first time, affects how successful that horse is, whether it's on the racetrack or any other career.
That is correct. These horses, they are where you teach them at a very young age. You can't have them learn bad habits, because if they do, that's, it's hard to take it away from them.
That's true.
So
it's harder to fix a problem.
It really is. So it's very important to, to make sure they learn everything the right way from the beginning.
And you've been a horseman for longer than I thought you'd been alive, almost.
Yes, I've been in the industry for over 40 years, almost 41 years to be exact. So.
And I heard somebody the other day on social media said it's easier to be a rider
than it is to be a horseman. And I thought, you know what, you're right. That's so true. It is easier to be a rider. If you get on a horse that somebody's already started well, that's well trained, it's easier to ride than it is to start on the ground. The ground is more complicated.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Napoleon Solo.
Wow.
He's cute.
He's a good-looking horse,
He is
and
a
you know
good-looking
what?
horse.
He was not the easiest one to break.
No.
You know, from the beginning, he was a handful.
Those greys, they can be a little bit like that, can't they?
So he was a nice horse, but you know, he had an attitude, or you know, like when we start breezing and start getting him going, he was just a handful.
Was he?
And he still is right now, from you know, stories I hear from Chad.
I saw that. Yes, I saw that when he was out on the track. I saw him. So my friend Marla Faust, she lives in Maryland.
Okay.
And she was working as security, and so she was taking photos and things for me, and she shared some photographs with me that he was being a bit naughty on the track. During the morning gallops, right?
Yes.
He was rearing a little bit and getting a little full of himself.
Very playful.
Yes, but obviously he took that energy and put it in a good place, winning the Preakness.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. No, he was a nice horse since the beginning. You know, he showed a lot of potential. You know, from that crop that we had, I think we had, you know, for Chet and Gold Square, I think I had 12 horses that year, and obviously of those, I think he was in the top 3 for them. You know, of what I like. And the other one is a horse by the name of 12 Hero, which was also a graded stake horse.
Nice.
So when you pick horses, like you're training at the beginning, what is it that you want to see that makes a horse get to the Kentucky Derby or the Preakness or win the Preakness?
You know, you like to see them be competitive. And I usually train my horses, and I gallop them in company all the time. Breeze company, more company. The more company, the better. And just make them be competitive. And once you start breezing, and you can see the way they do it, how easy they do it, how easy they want to be their company, and that's when you can tell if the horse has some talent and potential to be something special. Like in this case, it worked out with him.
Absolutely. A shout out to the Eisermans. You were actually with the Eisermans for 20 years.
For a long time.
And
yeah.
I guess that's where you kind of got your start, and what great people to learn from.
They are great people. It's Dr. Eisman, as you say, both of them, him and Sherry, they've been in the industry, they've been in the business for a long time. They have had a lot of good horses come through their farm.
They do. They have a horse in the Derby starting gate, I think, almost every year. And I just failed this year to check with them.
So where did you start? When you were 17 when you came?
I was 17, right at 17 years old when I started in the racetracks. I started in Chicago. So I started, from the bottom, cow walker, groom, and, I rode for a little bit. I was assistant trainer. That was in Kentucky. That was after years experience, obviously.
Years and
years. And so, yeah, all my background before I started doing what I do was from the racetrack.
Wow. So you started right from the bottom, so you learn every single part of the job, of what it takes.
Yes.
That's important. That is really, really important.
So I did. There's nothing that you could say that I have not done in the industry, because like I said, I was a how walker, I was a groom, I was assistant trainer, I own a horse here and there in the racetrack, and then, started pin hooking 2-year-olds and started, for Barry and Sherry, working for them, and then started on our own, pin hooking a few on our own, and started.
Now here you are with how many horses on the farm?
Oh my gosh.
A lot, right?
A lot.
So do you think that helped you, being that you've gone to every part of the industry? So now that you're running it, saying, hey, do this, do that, do you think that helps because you come from doing it?
Oh, of course. Oh, definitely. Because you're in, I was able to When you do this, you have to be able to do like a sponge. You got to soak everything you can. So I learned from every people that I was around, back from my racetrack days, and then go to Bear and Sherry, and then started on my own. So you learn, you have to have an open mind and be able to pick up pieces here and there and to be able to get the job done.
It's amazing.
And do you think that helps with the people that you are above?
On your team.
On your team.
Oh, yes, no doubt.
They can't hide something behind you.
Doubt. When you have a background, first of all, people are they're not going to send horses or trust you with your horses with somebody that don't think they can have the job done. So people do like anything, they do their homework and, what's your background, and, that's.
So did you think Napoleon Solo might make it to the big time when you had him?
We liked him a lot. Yeah, no, he was special, because we were very high on him. Like I said, he was on my for Gold Square top 3, and probably I had 60 at that time. Maybe that year I think I had 60 or 70 yearlings, and he had to be probably in the top 5.
Wow.
So
you knew he had potential.
Mm-hmm. We knew we had potential. Chet Summers was very high on him. I actually went to Saratoga when he broke his maiden first time out.
Oh.
Chet invited me to Saratoga because he said,
cool.
you have to come to Saratoga because he is going to win.
That's fantastic.
And he didn't disappoint. So I was there.
You were there.
Went to the winner's circle. I was part of that for his first time
wonderful.
out. So yeah.
Hold that thought, George. We are going to take a break, but we're coming right back. Stay grateful for the foundation of excellence laid over 40 years ago by their founders. Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care continues to provide excellence in ambulatory and emergency care, surgery, internal medicine and sports medicine, with a lab and pharmacy, as well as the best in reproductive services at their Advanced Facility Centre in Summerfield. For more information, find them at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now.
DAC Vitamins and Minerals has been making a world of difference for 35 years. Do you know what sets DAC apart? We use chelation minerals from Alltech, which allows for better absorption. DAC is the only supplement company Alltech provides ingredients for. We have our nutritionist, Performance Horse Nutrition, NASP, which is the quality seal, which guarantees our products and ensures our use of quality ingredients. DAC gives you a guaranteed analysis in every 1 ounce scoop, a 60-day money-back guarantee. Doesn't your partner deserve the best? Visit feeddac.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family-owned since 1934, manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
We're a unique, tough breed. We work long, hard hours making sure your horses are healthy and properly shod because, well, we farriers know horses perform better when they're properly shod and healthy. You want quality horse products, supplements, and farrier supplies at affordable prices, and you won't settle for anything less.
TT Distributors is dedicated to quality horse products, supplements, and farrier supplies at affordable prices. Racehorse or a pasture pony, TT Distributors has what you need. 7715 West Highway 40, Ocala.
D&N Equine Recovery is owned and operated by avid horsemen. With over 75 years of experience in the equine industry, D&N Equine Recovery provides the only whole horse crematorium in the greater Levy-Marion County area, serving all of north central Florida. All staff are dedicated to demonstrating the utmost respect throughout this emotionally delicate process, providing compassionate and timely service when it matters to horse owners the most. For more information, go to dnequinerecoveryllc.com. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios, presented by Piranha Animal Health in the horse capital of the world.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the third segment of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda.
And we have been chatting to, we call him second jewel of the Triple Crown winner.
Wow.
Because Jorge Villagomez and his team trained Napoleon Solo, who won Preakness. I think that's pretty exciting stuff, George. I can't tell you enough how excited I was when Sherry and Barry told me, hey, do you know George? I said, I don't, but now you look familiar to me. I realized probably back in the Tax Shack days, I probably helped you a few times.
I'm probably sure you did, we went there a few times.
I think so. I probably got some halters for you or something because you look very, very familiar. But I think it's so exciting. Do you know what Napoleon Solo will do next?
I think right now the target is the Haskell. I think they're gonna bypass the Belmont, and it's up in the air. But I think that's what they're thinking about it.
The Haskell's a great race. I've got some friends at Monmouth and love them, and I think it'd be wonderful.
Well, Al Gold, the owner of Gold Square, he's originally from the area, and
nice.
He wants to win the race. It's like winning the Kentucky. It will be like winning the Kentucky Derby for him.
Sure, absolutely. I think that's a lovely idea, and the Belmont's going to be tough because there's some really tough horses that are going to be in that, and we'll see what Golden Tempo does, and be nice to see him back, and very excited to see him run again. So we'll see some of the Derby horses back in that race, and lots of Ocala Marion County connections again. So I always find them eventually.
Yes.
Pete's got some goodies for you down there before we kick it off, because we are going to actually listen to Barry and Sherry talk about Golden Tempo. Yeah, piranha goodies. We've got some piranha samples in there. There's also a horse talk show, Dandy Brush, in there for you. And there's some nice natural KWell USA products.
Nice. Thank you very much.
George, thank you so much. Stay with us for a minute. We're going to take it over now to Dr. Barry Eisenman and Sherry, his wife. Here they are.
We're passionate about horses, race horses in particular. And we've operated Eisenman Equine for over 30 years, well over 30 years. For many years, we would sell a block of 2-year-olds in training, as well as break and prepare young horses for clients to go to the races. 2 years ago, we reduced our presence at the 2-year-old sales, so now it's mainly getting ready horses to go to the races for folks, and rehabilitating horses that have been at the races and need to come home for a surgery or a little rest or something. Over the years, we've, in the breaking of young and selling of young horses, we've had many entrants into the Derby, Preakness, Belmont Stakes field. About a dozen years ago, we had I'll Have Another, who won the Derby and the Preakness and was on the cusp of being a Triple Crown winner, but he did not run in the Belmont Stakes. This year we had 2 horses in the Derby. Golden Tempo, who ended up being the winner, and we broke from, we started with him in September or October, and he's co-owned by 2 of our good clients, St. Elias Stables, which is Vinny and Teresa Viola, as well as the Phipps Stables, who's a very long-standing historic racing family. So this was a horse that they co-bred. They sent to us to break, and he went through all the breaking process and galloping, breezing, learning, starting gate work, and then he left us to go to Cherie in August of last year. And the rest of it is readable. I would say it's very enjoyable. It's a lot of fun. Even when we sold horses, we were very wanting and interested in them going on to feats like this. We never had a racing stable. We always were designed to be a service provider and seller of horses. But to have accomplishments like this is certainly world class, and it brings us friends, notoriety, old acquaintances that call. It's really very good. Is this a trick question?
Tell the truth, Barry.
The truth on Golden Tempo would be, from the time he came in, he's by Curlin. He was attractive enough, good boned, excellent mind. You could take him home for breakfast or dinner and sit in your house, and he's just wonderful. Sound, good stride, gallops endlessly, tireless, smart at the starting gate, and those are all good qualities. Now with when it comes down to breezing a little bit as a baby and trying to show some speed, he was about as close to void of speed as any horse you could imagine. I don't think during the time he was going through kindergarten at our farm, he ever won a 2-horse breeze. So to Cherie's, accolades, she took him on as a horse to develop, and she developed him very well. Even in the races he's run, like 6 races, I don't think he's been ahead of any horse in the first quarter of a mile or so. That kind of speed is lacking. And when you have such a young horse, you're hoping, their pedigree's going to kick in, they'll be a closer, they'll be a famous horse because they come from nowhere. You can wish that all you want, but that usually does not come true. In Golden Tempo's case, it did come true. And Cherie, again, allowing him to develop. If the horse had been in, some other training situations, they'd have worked him 2 or 3 3/8 with other horses. He'd have gotten beaten, and he'd have been in the furthest barn from their tack room. He'd have been viewed as, oh, don't waste your time on me. But she gave him the time, she gave him the development, she let him come along. And even in the Derby, Jose Ortiz, who knows him well, was content to trail the field. And he wasn't trailing by half a length or so. He was way, way back. And it would have been a knee-jerk, understandable reaction for any rider to try to hit the gas, let's get going, make him go. And they could have forced him up to mid-pack, and he would have stopped. But Jose quietly sat back there with him and nothing else around him and just let things develop in front of him. There was enough pace, and he was able to go wide and stay out of trouble, and he wins the biggest horse race in our country. So it's not that he touted himself as a Derby winner from day one. He was a nice horse, but he never put a sign on himself like, I'm a Triple Crown winner.
Until they started him for the first time. That sometimes you have a horse that shows you nothing at the farm, and the trainer gets it and they're like, this horse doesn't have any speed, and we're like, well, just run him and see what happens. And those gates open and something clicks on, and that happened with him from his first start. So wasn't he a rising star? He won his first start, I think.
He won his first start, won 6 or so furlongs.
Yeah, he wakes up when he knows he's in a race.
And the other horse that came through our system was Further Ado. Now, he was broken here in Ocala by 6 Ks and sold at OBS by 6 Ks to Spendthrift. And we take in numerous horses that Spendthrift will buy as 2-year-olds. They come from the OBS to our farm and spend a month or 2, getting over the rigors of the 2-year-old sales process. And, we make sure that they are smart about the starting gate, because often horses from the 2-year-old marketplace may not have had much starting gate experience or work. So he was there for, a little reprieve vacation to freshen up and learn, make sure he knew all these things, and he knew them all well. So he was with us maybe 6 weeks, and then he moved on to Brad Cox.
Shout out to Sherry and Barry. Thank you so much for the introduction to George. George, I'm going to have us close out this last minute with you telling us about the text you got from Chad Summers to tell your wife to get a dress because you were going to win the Preakness.
Yeah, that was early in April. Oh, the day after the Good Memorial.
Yeah.
The horse ran in the Good Memorial, and he ran his best race, and he wasn't ready. He had a little bit of issues to get there, like a foot problem, nothing big, but he missed some time. So after the Good Memorial, he says, tell Lulu to go dress shopping for Maryland. So I think, give me 6 weeks, I'll have him ready, and we'll win the Preakness.
Win the Preakness.
That's how confident
and then
he was.
did. I love that. Well done, George. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having
and
me.
congratulations.
It's been really nice.
Yes, sir.
Going to be watching your horses now. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Pat Myers, owner of Pat Myers Electric, a family-owned and operated business founded on both trust and integrity. From new installations to repairs and emergencies, Pat Myers Electric's team of professionals can handle it all. Pat Myers Electric, for all your current needs. Discover more at patmyerselectric.com.
The Larson family has been farming hay in Idaho for generations with a mission to always provide high-quality hay products at a fair and reasonable price. Larson Hay loves to meet new customers while always honoring the ones they already have. Find Larson Hay on the web at larsonhay.com, like them on Facebook, and definitely visit one of their locations. Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and our television broadcast sponsor. It's time to fight back against summer sores with K-Well's Red Repel, healing and soothing, a lava-slaying ointment of justice, powered by zinc and nature's sass. Safe for all horses, even drama queens, gentle enough for the face. Your horse deserves skincare too, long-lasting and non-toxic. A bonus, buy a copper curry brush or Red Repel and receive a free in-store K-Well sample of your choice in Ocala at Seminole Feed Stores, TD Distributors and OBS. Discover more at kwellusa.com. K-Well, strength by nature.
Love presents itself in so many ways. It can be difficult to describe the bond between human and horse because it really transcends words. As we prepare for each ride, the most important thing in our mind is our horse's health and safety. Are we playing our part in this remarkable relationship? We want to go to sleep every night knowing that we did everything in our power to preserve this special bond. Piranha Animal Health, for the love of the horse.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. She's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios, presented by Piranha Animal Health in the horse capital of the world.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second half of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet.
Your hometown Chevy experience.
Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
A couple months ago, we had the Horseman Symposium here with some incredible horsemen and women. And one of those was Ryan Rose. Got a chance to chat to him. Here he is.
I'm fortunate enough at the end of a couple of days of hard work to have a minute to chat to Ryan Rose Horsemanship. Most recently known, of course, for being a competitor at Road to the Horse, which was very exciting. Ryan, it's lovely to be with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, thank you. I know we have a couple of days of being quite busy here, so I won't keep you too long, but just really wanted to talk to you a little bit about how you felt about everything this weekend and how you felt about having the different presenters all kind of in one clinic setting like this. I think that was wonderful for people.
Yeah, I think it's great because everybody has the common message of kind of doing things with the horse and for the horse through whatever discipline or techniques they were sharing.
I think it's interesting that every single person talked about connection in some way with the horse, and being able to have that connection being the most important thing. I love to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
I love to see happy horses, and I see that everybody is kind of working with that goal in mind.
Yeah, it's just nice being around like-minded people. You know, I was sharing stuff about thoroughbreds and bridleless riding training, and then we saw people all the way up to Louis Lucio, an Olympic athlete, sharing his message with dressage and lots of just so many different things. Liberty, but with that common theme of building a connection, getting the horse to understand our idea, and that's kind of what brings us all together.
It does indeed, and I love his connection with Linda because he always shares how even though he went to the Olympic level, he has learned so much since then from Linda and uses those tools now, and I feel like that to me is somebody that went to the Olympics, has accomplished everything he has, can take these tools and make himself better. I mean, that's excellent, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great giveaway of a mentor if they're continuing to learn themselves. And if they've decided they know everything, that's usually when we start going backwards.
That's a problem.
You know, yeah. And so all the clinicians here were attentive to the other presenters and listening to what they were saying, and we all enjoy learning just as much as we enjoy teaching.
That's right. Talk to us a little bit about the thoroughbred.
So I have a thoroughbred named Nelson. He's a super cool horse. He's a really good-natured thoroughbred, and I'll be competing with him in Lexington, Kentucky at the Retired Racehorse Project. My first time competing in there, so that'll be fun.
Ooh, exciting.
I've trained a lot of other thoroughbreds thoroughbreds, so this is a chance for me to share kind of how to restart a thoroughbred and give them the best chance of having a nice, smooth training program. And so I've been doing that on my YouTube channel and on my Patreon page, so it's been fun.
So we can find that and follow that and watch some of that action.
Yep,
I love
Adventures
that.
in Nelson.
I love that. I love thoroughbreds. I'm a huge fan of racing. I love watching it. And I love it when I see some of our local trainers here who have a lot of really good background, Martin Black and people like that they followed, and they follow those kind of training methods, and those horses when they get to the track are different and better than the ones who haven't had that good foundation. So I think it really makes a difference when you get one, whether it's had that or not, and you're able to utilize your knowledge to make that horse have a future career. That's huge.
He's a real character too. He's really funny.
I love it. Talk to us about bridleless. I think everybody loves to see that.
Bridleless is just one of my favorite things, just the feeling of riding a horse without needing the reins and just feeling like that horse is your feet underneath you and you can go as fast or as slow as you want to go. To me, it's really special, and so I really enjoy training that, and I enjoy sharing with people, because you have to have a strong connection to your idea. The horse has to be comfortable and relaxed and willing in order to do it. So it really requires all those fundamental pieces to be there, and then the end result is just super rewarding and satisfying.
It's lovely to watch that. So talk to us a little bit. Most recently, of course, there's been a lot of publicity about Road to the Horse. That is a tough competition. It's a huge honor even to be selected to be in that small group of top people who get to have that opportunity. Tell us a little bit about what that was like for you as far as going and doing that for the first time, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, it was super fun. It's very intense. The colt starting was the colt starting. I'd practiced it under those timelines and stuff, but doing it in front of that many people, I had so many people come out to support me. It was just like overwhelming in a good way of how many people were there. So I wanted to deliver for them and not let them down. So I felt a little pressure from that. And then, you're there with the other competitors and the judges. And so it was more intense, I think, than I expected. There's also a lot of demand on our time to do different interviews and different things while we're there. So it was maybe a little busier than I was expecting, because the round pen sessions are only, an hour, 45 minutes long. So it goes by pretty quick that way. But yeah, it was super fun and very exhilarating. And so I can't wait to try to do it again.
So when you're doing something when you're training horses, let's say at home in their normal environment, you take as long as you need to take with each individual horse, and it might be different with each horse because no horse is exactly the same. It's not really cookie cutter, so you might have to take a little bit longer at certain things with certain horses. Other horses might pick up quicker, but you probably have like a kind of a method and a foundation you like to put on a horse. How hard is that to take that and condense that down into such a short period of time for Road to the Horse? That has to be, I always wonder about that. I think how do you take what takes a long time and make it successful in the short term? Yeah,
a lot of times too, if I'm training a horse at home, I'm preparing him for the owner, not for me. So maybe I could ride it within that first hour and a half, but I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about getting this horse to have a really thorough foundation so that the owner at the end of a month or 2 or 3 or whatever will also be able to continue getting those results. So it's kind of different in that way. You learn to get efficient with your program. Like there's kind of like a got-to list of like, we've got to be able to tick these boxes or I'm not stepping up there. And so that you condense that down to the most efficient, critical things that you need. And for me, in the first hour of the first session, I was able to tick off all those boxes, and so I was ready to step on and go out for a little trot. Now, keep in mind, the first ride, Jake was flagging me and just pushing. So I was just sitting there, petting on her, just kind of wearing a human for the first time. And then I stepped back off, I worked on some obstacles, and then I got back on, and then I transitioned to accepting the rider, where now I'm doing some guiding, and I'm encouraging her to move forward. And so that takes a little bit more, a little deeper level. So it is different. It's like, if I was preparing her to ride in a big arena for the very first ride, well, I would have needed even more time than that. So yeah, you just learn to condense it to the most essential pieces.
But an incredible experience and such an honor, as I said, to be selected, even to be in that's a small group that gets picked to go try that. And I think I think that's a huge honor right there. It's amazing.
Yeah, I had been wanting kind of putting my name in the hat for the last 20 years to get in there. And, I think my YouTube channel has really impacted that. I have a pretty big following on YouTube. And so I think it was a good good decision for them to ask me on. And I was proud of that because when I started my YouTube channel, I knew that was one of the reasons. It was like I wanted to share my message with people, but I also wanted to put myself in a position where I could get invited to things like that. So I was really proud of that.
So is there any one thing you would say to future competitors who've never done it before that you would put out there as your little piece of advice from doing that?
That's a good question. Yeah, I would encourage them to keep chasing it. Like, again, it took me 20 years, but I would say it was worth it because you end up realizing it's not really about that destination. It's good to set a goal. And I'm really proud of who I've become along the way over those 20 years to get accepted there. And then once I was accepted, the preparation that I did and the amount of horses I started this year, and for me, getting in shape physically to be handy and athletic and riding a colt that maybe is having a little trouble at a different moment. That was all important to it. And so I'm really happy with kind of who I became along the way. And so I would just encourage them to stick with their goals and keep after it until they make it there.
Stay on the journey
Yeah.
and enjoy it on the way, right?
Yep.
How do people find you? Is it Ryan Rose Horsemanship to follow you on your different outlets so they can kind of see your journey?
Yep. It's all Ryan Rose Horsemanship. And we got lots of videos on Nelson on YouTube, and I think they'll get a kick out of them.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations for being a part of that, being a successful competitor for this wonderful event. I love bringing all the like-minded folks together for people to learn. It was a great educational experience.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ryan Rose. Ryan Rose Horsemanship. You can find him and follow him. Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show here at the end of the Horseman Symposium. Ocala Dog Ranch offers a variety of services for your dog, including agility training, barn hunt training, board and train, boarding long and short term, daycare, day training, dock diving training and competitions, disc dog, swimming lessons and pool rentals, lure coursing and obedience training classes. Check out Ocala Dog Ranch at ocaladogranch.com. Ocala Dog Ranch is your home away from home for your dog and more.
At Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, our customers say it best.
Oh, the prices were great. They were actually unbeatable.
Thanks, Miss Delara. At Palm Chevy, we do our best to give you our best price and payment without the games. And our entire team is committed to making your experience in sales or service pleasant and hassle-free.
It's been a pleasure doing business around here.
Thanks, Mr. Hars. And we think you'll agree. Visit us today at Palm Chevrolet, Southwest College Road in Ocala, or at palmchevrolet.com. Find new roads.
Love presents itself in so many ways. It can be difficult to describe the bond between human and horse because it really transcends words. As we prepare for each ride, the most important thing in our mind is our horse's health and safety. Are we playing our part in this remarkable relationship? We want to go to sleep every night knowing that we did everything in our power to preserve this special bond. Piranha Animal Health, for the love of the horse.
World-class equine rehab promoting faster recovery is available at the Equine Performance Center Ocala. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy, an underwater treadmill, a saltwater spa, an aquapacer, MagnaWave, a vibration plate, swimming pool, massage and laser therapies. With post-surgical care, memberships, packages and BOGOs, EPC delivers a rejuvenated horse through proven and innovative rehab. Like Equine Performance Center now on Facebook and find them on the web at epcrehab.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934, manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at seminolefeed.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios, presented by Piranha Animal Health, in the horse capital of the world.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet.
Your hometown Chevy experience.
Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
89% of Marion County answered a survey for Horse Farms Forever, and 100% actually answered it, but 89% said that the most important thing to them was farmland preservation, springs preservation, that they wanted to keep the culture that we have here in the horse capital of the world.
And Horse Farms Forever has been pursuing that dream now for quite a few years. And just this past week, they had an amazing event at the Circle Square Commons. And the keynote speaker was Ben Masters, who was the filmmaker for Unbranded, the Mustang movie, the Mustangs that were ridden thousands of miles across America, and really brought him into being known as a filmmaker. And he now makes incredible wildlife movies. And this event was fantastic because it connected Horse Farms Forever in a collaboration with the Wildlife Corridor Foundation. And we enjoyed having a chance to chat to Sara, Ben, and also Alex from the Corridor Connect. So here they are.
Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show in partnership with TV20. I'm here with Sara Fennessy. We're going to talk a little bit about Corridor Connect, why that's so important, and how that connects to Horse Farms Forever. Sara, what an amazing event today.
Thank you so much, Louisa. It was really so needed and so exciting to have something like this here in Marion County. It's an honor for us to partner on this event today with the Florida Wildlife Corridor Foundation.
We're Floridians. We know how incredible it is to live in this state, and there is a way for us to thrive and wildlife and wildlands to thrive alongside us if we build smart, if we design smart, and we make it an intentional choice to do preservation, conservation alongside development, not with development railroading over. And that's all the conversation that we had today, is keeping the Florida Wildlife Corridor in Marion County thriving while Marion County residents and their beautiful horse farms get to thrive as well. Marion County is such a special place within the corridor. They have a huge concentration of freshwater springs, as well as beautiful natural forests, and this thriving working land legacy where generations of Floridians have lived and worked and had their families on this landscape. And that is what makes Florida so special, so unique, and it's so worth protecting. Something that is incredibly important to us with Corridor Connect is elevating and celebrating artists and storytellers. We know the science of connectivity, we know the science of conservation, but to get it across that threshold to action, art is the vehicle. So filmmaking, photography, our beautiful mural artists, all of these artists and storytellers together catalyze us to put this knowledge that we have into action. And I think Ben's humor and his beautiful imagery just really sealed the deal for a great day.
Ben, you were incredibly entertaining. I so enjoyed listening to you.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
I had no idea that 95% of Texas was privately owned. I learned a lot today from you.
Oh, well, I'm glad. Come visit. We get some really good land stewards, and Texas is actually the best place. Just ask a Texan. I think I probably have the coolest job in the world. I make wildlife movies with my friends, which is pretty amazing. And, you know, I guess the whole thing got started just because I grew up working on ranches. Just love being outside. I've always been curious and fascinated by, you know, fish and wildlife of all different kinds. So it's just kind of where I navigated to, and I have this amazing life where I get to really go to all over the country and film amazing wildlife behaviors and spend weeks on in the woods chasing lions and ocelots and after class and stuff. And I had this friend that is the type of friend that you want to have in life. Talked me into dropping out, adopting a bunch of horses and doing the Continental Divide Trail. So we got a bunch of Mustangs and we rode through New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana. It took about 5 months or so. Really, really good use of 5 months. And in that trip, you know, it really changed my life. Get to see, you know, the fact that we still have so much public lands, continuous landscape that you can ride a horse across the country like today.
Yes. To spoil that if we don't take steps now to prevent that from happening.
Absolutely. And all of these stories, again, they share that exact common message, how fragile everything is and how important it is that we're proactive in protecting what makes each of our communities and states so special individually and collectively. So we were, again, this was such a wonderful event. And Ben, I can't tell if he's a stand-up comedian or a conservation.
And I may not be appropriate to do this because I don't have any Florida roots. And she was like, oh, it's okay. You ride horses. You'll fit in just fine. She was like, just play him a horse video. They'll love you. So seriously, like, people really take y'all seriously. They're putting, like, billions of dollars into this vision. And, you know, I'm sure some of y'all are living in it every day and it just becomes your normal. But not being from Florida, I just want to let y'all know what you have is really special. I'm very jealous of it. Honestly, I wish that we had 300 people in a room talking about landscape scale connectivity more often in Texas. I'm jealous of that. So that's really my final thought is keep up the great work. Y'all are inspiring a lot of folks. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Sara, what can we do to help Horse Farms Forever? How can we support what you do? And how do we find out more information? So
we are a nonprofit organization and we're only as strong as our community and as strong as our membership base. So you can check out our website at horsefarmsforever.com to learn more about the good work that we're doing. It's a lot of work, obviously, being one of the fastest growing counties in the nation. As you know, it's a wonderful thing, but we also need to be very mindful in balancing growth and preservation. So that's the message that we're sending. We love growth. We're pro-growth, but we're pro-smart growth, and we definitely need to protect and preserve what makes Marion County, as you always say, the horse capital of the world. So that's what we're working so hard to do. And we're thankful for our partners at the CEP also in supporting our efforts. But again, we're only as strong as our supporters. So every dollar matters, every voice counts.
Forever is a force to be reckoned with, and that you guys have done so much already to help us with balance, which is what we really need here more than anything. Today, really emphasizing the importance of looking after our wildlife, looking after our horse industry, and looking after our very beautiful county, Marion County, the horse capital of the world. Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show in partnership with TV20.
That event put on, the collaboration between Horse Farms Forever and the Wildlife Corridor Foundation makes so much sense, because when we are talking about preservation, we're not just talking about horse farms, although that is a huge driver. Horse Farms Forever are always talking about smart growth and keeping a balance, and they're not against growth in any way. They just want growth to stay where it should stay. And
we want people to come to Ocala because of the farms.
Right, exactly.
But also make a living here if they want to move here,
Right.
if they're not into the horse.
Right, exactly. So that made sense, and the keynote speaker was a perfect fit for here. And if you heard the part where he said, he made me laugh because he said, I'm not from Ocala. I don't have any roots in Ocala, Marion County. And they said, it's okay, you ride horses, you'll fit in. And his unbranded movie, of course, made him famous. And now he works with people like Matthew McConaughey and Ethan Hawke and big names like that. So it was really cool to hear from Ben Masters. And there's a bloopers reel on our Facebook too, which was fun. So check that out as well. We've got to go to break. We'll be coming back with the final segment for this week. Stay with us on the Horse Talk Show. We'll be right back. The Green Pharmacist CBD is not just made in the USA, it's made in Ocala in a licensed lab. GREENE, The Green Pharmacist. Larson Hay, family owned and operated. Idaho's finest alfalfa.
At Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, our customers say it best.
Oh, the prices were great. They were actually unbeatable.
Thanks, Miss Delara. At Palm Chevy, we do our best to give you our best price and payment without the games. And our entire team is committed to making your experience in sales or service pleasant and hassle-free.
It's been a pleasure doing business around here.
Thanks, Mr. Hars, and we think you'll agree. Visit us today at Palm Chevrolet, Southwest College Road in Ocala, or at palmchevrolet.com. Find new roads.
World-class equine rehab promoting faster recovery is available at the Equine Performance Centre Ocala. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy, an underwater treadmill, a saltwater spa, an aquapacer, MagnaWave, a vibration plate, swimming pool, massage and laser therapies. With post-surgical care, memberships, packages and BOGOs, EPC delivers a rejuvenated horse through proven and innovative rehab. Like Equine Performance Centre now on Facebook and find them on the web at epcrehab.com. DNN Equine Recovery is owned and operated by avid horsemen. With over 75 years of experience in the equine industry, DNN Equine Recovery provides the only whole horse crematorium in the greater Levy-Marion County area, serving all of North Central Florida. All staff are dedicated to demonstrating the utmost respect throughout this emotionally delicate process, providing compassionate and timely service when it matters to horse owners the most. For more information, go to dnequinerecoveryllc.com. It's time to fight back against summer sores with K-Well's Red Repel, healing and soothing, a lava-slaying ointment of justice, powered by zinc and nature's sass. Safe for all horses, even drama queens, gentle enough for the face. Your horse deserves skincare too, long-lasting and non-toxic. A bonus, buy a copper curry brush or Red Repel and receive a free in-store K-Well sample of your choice in Ocala at Seminole Feed Stores, TD Distributors and OBS. Discover more at kwellusa.com. K-Well, strength by nature. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios, presented by Piranha Animal Health in the horse capital of the world.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the final segment of the Horse Talk Show for this week, presented by Palm Chevrolet.
Your hometown Chevy experience.
Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I'm Louisa Barton.
I'm Dancing Pete Rhoda. Thanks, Mark, for the idea. So one of the listeners, Mark, said, you should do funny things when you do your, because I enjoy what.
You're funny enough.
Yes, he likes the ones I do, but he gave me more ideas. So I'm going to have a lot more ideas on that.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I can tell you on the breaks here, Pete has made a new friend, the starting trainer of the Preakness winner, Napoleon Solo, and him have been they've been having a great conversation. So we're going to kick this segment off with Dancing Pete's Tip of the Week.
Dancing Pete's Tip of the Week, brought to you by Complimentary Horsemanship.
So today's tip of the week happened today while I was teaching a student of mine that's been with me for about a year, and we're now riding her horse, thoroughbred. And she was doing flexions to get him to start responding softer and nicer. And she was getting kind of frustrated because it is a beginning kind of thing. And finally she got it to where she was just moving her seat and he was moving his hips away. And she was like, oh, that's why we're doing it. So while we were doing it, I said, feel what you see and see what you feel. And what that means is I wanted her to feel what was going on without looking at the horse. So see it in your mind. So feel what you see in your mind. And then, I don't care if you look down, to see what you're feeling. So what is he doing when that feels like that? So it was just like a aha moment, and I got to write that down for today. So that's my tip of the week is feel what you see and see what you feel.
That's nice. That's affirmation that you were right too.
Because
then you're like, I knew I felt that. Now I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that. That's a phenomenal one. If you have a horse, you probably have at least one dog, or perhaps more, 3, like me.
Or hounds.
Hounds. Yes, you might have 25 hounds too if you're Misty Morning Hounds. Either way, it's hot. You were probably swimming over the weekend, right, for Memorial Day. Your dogs like to swim too. Here's Neil.
The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
Hi there, Neil Hennessy, Ocala Dog Ranch. A really good exercise regimen for your dogs is swimming. This is Florida though, so make sure you can find somewhere safe without gators or snakes. But swimming is really good exercise for them. It's low impact, it's good for puppies and older dogs, and it's also good for yourself. So Next time you want to exercise your dog, why don't you think about doing some swimming?
While we're on the topic of Neil and Ocala Dog Ranch, I don't think there's a better time to mention an event that's coming up at Ocala Dog Ranch, just off Highway 40 there, not far from Live Oak International, if you're familiar with that event. They are having a big yard sale to benefit OHA, which is Open Hands Animal Rescue. And you can sell some stuff there. We call it a boot sale in England. You call it trunk here. So $10 for your trunk or boot or a small area.
People are going to bring their boots
$20.
trying to sell them.
$20. They can sell their boots in the boot.
Except for he needs to call it the dog yard sale.
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool.
$20 for a 10 by 10 space. You can bring your dogs to swim in the pool, which is only $10. And you can contact Neil at Ocala Dog Ranch, Neil at ocaladogranch.com. And that's on 110th Avenue. And it's raising funds for such a good cause because Open Hands Animal Rescue does so much to rescue dogs, cats, and horses in our area. So help them out.
$10 for a trunk in the back of your car.
Would help if I said the date. June 13th.
June 13th. $20 for a 10 by 10 space.
11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on June 13th. So get yourself signed up for that. Hey, I'm going to do a quick shout out for a miracle worker, Becky Jenkins from Grateful Gallops. As you all know, Flynn fractured his hock, my Mustang, sometime back last year, and had not had a very good looking x-ray, and after the 4-month mark was not looking good. And Becky Jenkins has been coming and cold lasering his hock for me for the last 2.5 months or so, and Flynn's hock is healing. So I'm very, very excited to share how amazing she is. Whether you want cryotherapy, cold laser, massage, you name it, she does it. Beamer, yes, thank you, Pete.
50% off if you mention the Horse Talk Show.
Yep, 50% off your first service, so check her out, Grateful Gallops. I know I'm grateful. Palm Chevrolet has Military Appreciation Month for those driven to serve, and those who serve get a special $1,000 discount there off MSRP. So if you are in the military, check out Palm Chevrolet this month on Military Appreciation Month. Hey, this is a fun one coming up. We're just right around the corner from Donkey Days. Oh, you make those noises too. Donkey Days celebration is a gathering of donkeys and the people who love them. This is to benefit Brook USA, which helps working equids all around the world. This is an inaugural event for donkey owners. You can do a trail fun run, obstacles, costume class, get educated. There'll be some food. It's going to be a good time. And that is at Tree Line Farm in Williston on May 30th.
And somebody asked, do you have to have a donkey or a mule to participate? And I told them, yes, you do. This one is only for those guys.
Donkeys.
Yes.
Yeah, donkeys and mules. And I think it's going to be a good time. Williston, just north of Ocala, Tree Line Farm, May the 30th. Check it out. There's a great schedule, trail poker, all kinds of fun obstacle courses, a barrel race, social time with your donkey. Sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Sitting on your, oh, never mind. Reading with Horses is coming up.
That's right, the summertime Gentle Carousel Miniature Therapy Horses does their Reading with Horses all summer. That helps people have interaction with horses and also be encouraged to read during the summer, again in Ocala at Midtown Station. The series is sponsored by Horse Farms Forever, and then there are individual sponsors each week. Pat Myers Electric is kicking us off on June the 4th at 10 a.m., very close to downtown Ocala. Come see. It's free for everybody to attend.
And it's for the big kids also.
That's right, like us.
Yes.
So they read the book, and then you meet the character from the book. Doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, I would be reading a lot more if I would have had that as a kid.
And the character's a horse, of course.
Yes.
Coming up just around the corner now, it is the final one of this season.
Let's hope so, because it's getting hot.
It's getting hot. It's the Hunter Pace at Misty Morning Hounds, brought to you by Larson Hay, June 7th. Gates open at 8 o'clock. Last ride goes out at 12. You'll probably go out before then because it's rather warm. But it's an incredible, about 5 or 6 miles of riding, jump or not. You can go flat or over the jumps, either one, Western or English. Everybody's welcome. Get that on your calendar. June 7th, Hunter Pace, Misty Morning Hounds in Gainesville.
Oh, we have a black and white gala. That is October 10th. Now, that seems like a long way away,
but it's just around
the corner. And this is for Gentle Carousel, and this is the birthday for Magic, their main horse that goes everywhere. And he's a, what is it called?
He's the hero horse. He's actually the only, she is the only living most heroic animal in the top 10 most heroic animals in the history of the world. She's also an official Ocala Police Department officer. Gentle Carousel Miniature Therapy Horses is a 501c3. They visit all of our elementary schools. They visit hospitals and hospice. They do incredible work. They go to disaster scenes. They help our first responders. They are the coolest people. And the Black and White Gala on October 10th is to help fundraise for them. And they have some top musicians coming from Nashville for this gala, so get your tickets now. Yeah, I think we're almost a wrap. Can you believe it? Our first show in the new studio. We'd love to hear from you. I know. And we got the guy whose horse started training here that won the Preakness for our first show. I think that's really cool. So we got to go. Whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world,
or not.
Happy horsing around till the same time next week.
See ya.
Leave the engines behind and saddle up for an unforgettable experience on horseback with African horse safaris.